Have you watched the previous episode's video? Welcome to the story of this episode, Chapter 36, Turmoil in the Spirit Fantasy Realm and the Search for Clues. After Sumu sensed the abnormalities in various parts of the Spirit Fantasy Realm, he immediately informed his grandfather. Upon hearing this, his grandfather's expression became even graver. Aware of the seriousness of the situation, he decided to immediately jalzi the elders of Lingxi town to discuss countermeasures. Everyone gathered together, and Sumu described in detail the spiritual power disorders he had detected and the strange whereabouts of the black-robed men. After listening, the elders all frowned, and the atmosphere became extremely heavy. It seems that the Dark Spirit sect has great ambitions. They are likely plotting a major conspiracy against the spirit fantasy realm, one elder said with a worried look. Indeed, these spiritual power disorders are probably their doing. Their purpose is to disrupt the order of the spirit fantasy realm and create conditions for their actions, another elder echoed. After pondering for a moment, grandfather said, "We can't just speculate here. We must send people to investigate thoroughly. Sumo, you are quite familiar with the black-robed men, and your strength has also increased significantly. Take some people to the places with spiritual power disorders to look for clues and see if we can figure out the conspiracy of the Dark Spirit sect." Sumo said without hesitation, "Grandpa, don't worry, I will do my best." So, Sumu selected several young cultivators with relatively strong strength in Lingxi town to form an investigation team and embarked on a journey to search for clues. They first came to Lingfeng Valley, the place with spiritual power disorder closest to Lingxi town. Lingfeng Valley was originally a place with abundant spiritual power and beautiful scenery. In the valley, a gentle spiritual power wind blew all year round, attracting many cultivators to come here for secluded cultivation. However, when Sumo and his party arrived, they found that the valley was filled with a depressing atmosphere. The spiritual power wind had become wild and disorderly, and the flowers, plants, and trees around had withered and died due to the abnormal spiritual power. Sumo and the others entered the valley cautiously. They could feel an evil spiritual power aura in the air, which was very similar to the spiritual power of the black-robed men from the Dark Spirit sect. In the depths of the valley, they discovered a huge spiritual power whirlpool. Black spiritual power smoke kept emerging from the whirlpool, and these smokes seemed to be eroding the surrounding spiritual power environment. This must be the work of the Dark Spirit sect. What on earth are they trying to do? A team member said angrily. Sumo didn't answer. He carefully observed the spiritual power whirlpool, trying to find the mystery within. Suddenly, he noticed a faint rune mark in the center of the whirlpool. This mark was somewhat similar to a certain mark he had seen on the black-robed men before. Sumo circulated his spiritual power, trying to get closer to the center of the whirlpool to check the rune mark. However, the spiritual power around the whirlpool was too strong, pushing him back again and again. Just when Sumo felt a bit frustrated, he suddenly remembered the spiritual power control techniques in the spiritual comprehension canon. Sumo took a deep breath, concentrated, and used a special way of circulating spiritual power to resonate with the spiritual power around the whirlpool. Gradually, the repulsive force of the whirlpool on him weakened, and he finally managed to get close to the center of the whirlpool and see the rune mark clearly. The rune mark flickered with a strange light. After careful observation, Sumu found that it was a rune formation used by the Dark Spirit sect to disrupt spiritual power. Through this rune formation, they could extract the surrounding spiritual power and transform it into evil spiritual power, thus destroying the normal spiritual power order. It seems that the Dark Spirit sect wants to achieve their ulterior motives by disrupting the spiritual power balance in various places. We must find a way to break this rune formation as soon as possible and stop their conspiracy, Sumu said. However, it was easier said than done to break this rune formation. Sumo and the team members circled around the spiritual power whirlpool, carefully studying the arrangement of the runes in the law of spiritual power flow, but they got no clue for a while. Just when they felt a bit dejected, Sumu suddenly remembered some rune knowledge he had seen in the castle of the mysterious plane before. Those runes seemed to have some subtle connection with the ones in front of him. The story continues. More exciting content is coming up. Subscribe as soon as possible.